Guess who has Lyme disease officially? Yeah. I'll try to make it brief, try my best. So I've got the official diagnosis that I have Lyme disease, which is Borrelia burgdorferi, maybe. Bordetella, babesia. At least those, in addition to the alpha-gal. So I have a bunch of tick-borne illnesses. It's validating. So here, in case other people get this is what happens with Western medicine. I've learned this this is 8 months of torture and because I was laid up, I researched it to death. Okay, so here's what I learned. There's more, like 300,000 cases of Lyme in this country, more than breast cancer and HIV together. Half of the standard medical Western medicine community dismisses it. The other half says it's real. Supposedly Johns Hopkins maybe just recently recognized it as real. So what happens is the insurance, the money, tells the CDC what to say and do, and their testing is like at least 20 years out of date and proven to give 40% false negatives. And so what happens is standard Western medicine docs give you all the standard tests and they can't diagnose you. And then they say, oh, it must be psychiatric, and then they prescribe antidepressants. That's what they do. So it's gaslighting. That's it distilled. So if a doctor follows the CDC guidelines, then insurance covers them. And so the doctors that don't follow the CDC guidelines, insurance doesn't cover them. So if you think you have Lyme disease, you will not be helped by standard Western medicine doctors. You will not be helped by doctors that take insurance. You just won't. So thankfully, the Lord's body has provided money for me to be able to get these answers. So I'm seeing a local doctor, and I'm going. She was like, she was backed up, and her PA called me and gave me all the test results. And she didn't give me all the test results. What she said was, you got Lyme disease, which is, I can't remember all the names. There's Bordetella, Burgdorferi, Babesia, Ehrlichia, and she named a handful that I knew, that I recognized the names of, and said, yep, you got these following Lyme tick-borne illnesses, including you have Lyme disease. Told you. If you've got these things, you talk to me. Yeah, if I get better, then I plan to go on a mission. A small percentage of my life will be dedicated to helping others get out of this horrible nightmare of a situation. I thought I was dying. I mean, I felt that bad, crushing head pressure. I thought I was dying, and people were telling me I was exaggerating, and they were gaslighting me, lost friends over it. So it's a nightmare. It's a nightmare, and that's what people go through. What are y'all doing? Dogs. Thank you for everyone who has opened up their wallet, because I could not have gotten a diagnosis any other way. It's expensive. It's expensive, and it's all about the money. Insurance says this is a nightmare. Insurance says it's not real. They have that. They have their hands on the throat of in the pockets, whatever, of the CDC. So this is another thing I learned. So the CDC, they had a group of people who could not agree on anything on this, but then they went on ahead with their studies and their findings, and then they put out a test that was probably okay, but then they came up with a Lyme disease vaccine. And because of the vaccine there's two like markers or something, strands or something on this test. So this test has got a bunch of strands on it, right? And then they took out 2 of those strands because they would show up. So it would give you a false positive, right? Well, then they never ran with the Lyme disease vaccine, and then they never put those 2 strands back in. And that's the test they use, and that's why it's 40% false negatives. So there's a movie, Quiet Epidemic, and I had to pay to watch it. It's on Prime Video, and you have to pay to watch it. So it's like $5 or something. And that's where I learned a bunch of this, but it confirmed what I had already learned from an older documentary. It's like 8 or 10 years old. This is no joke. I mean, people die from it. All of the symptoms that I have experienced, and yesterday my hand was all like trembling, not that bad, but it was trembling. Getting off the meat, all mammal products has helped me. This is another key right here. So what I did, I researched. I was researching everywhere, and I found people were getting better from certain supplements, not narcotics and not antibiotics. I mean, antibiotics can do something, but not really. I've learned a lot. So what I would find somebody that says this supplement helped me. Then what I would do is I would use the search term Lyme disease or Lyme, and then I would use the search term that supplement. And then once I found it hitting in 3 different sources, that was enough to get my attention, and I was desperate enough to try it. So I'm taking cat's claw, Japanese knotweed, oil of oregano, and Hatenia. That's what I learned from my new doctor, Dr. Hollis in Roanoke, Virginia. And people say that she saved their lives from Lyme disease. And those things allowed me to get out of bed. I was taking them for about a month and a half now. And then when I got to Dr. Hollis, her PA said, okay, those 2 are worthless. And I'm taking like 13 or 14. Those 2 are worthless. Double up on these 3. And I did, and I had already experienced relief. I was actually out of bed, because before this, it was every day I was in bed all but 1 to 4 hours a day. That was a good day, was getting out of bed for 4 hours. Other than that, I'm just curled up in the bed, just suffering. Took those supplements, and I started feeling like some relief. And then she told me to double up on 3 of them, so I did, and then I experienced more relief. And then I got the diagnosis of alpha-gal and laid off of all mammal products, so all pig and beef and like deer. I can't eat my venison, and I can't eat dairy, and I can't eat gelatin. So gelatin is what those, made from horse hooves, I guess. It's what those capsules are made of. So a lot of them. So I had to replace a bunch of my supplements. No big deal. Great, fine. Once I did that, I experienced a little more relief. Currently, right now, I have a little bit of electricity in my chest. That's one of my symptoms. It feels like 10 volts. About like 10 volts. If you've ever been hit by like a wall outlet, like you accidentally touched the thing when it was the blade on the plug, when you touch it, it shocked you. It's not that bad. It's about 1/10 that bad, but it's like just like maddening. So anyway, I have light at the end of the tunnel. I have validation. That's motivating right there. Then my doctor, my Western medicine doctor, who is a wonderful human being, following the guidelines like he's supposed to. He's a good man. He found out all the supplements I'm taking. He's like, let me test your blood. Well, all my blood tests came back good. Like, some of them have improved. I had a couple that were out of range. I can't remember what they were, just barely out of range, and they've come back into range. So I'm going to try to get those and have them sent over to my regular doc, and the not standard Western medicine doc, Dr. Hollis. So what I learned is, through my own research, I was able to get out of bed, taking those supplements that are proven now by other people and from my experience to work. No, you're not healed, but you can move, you can get out of bed. Then they didn't hurt me. I found that out through blood tests. And then now I've got the validation of getting all those tests back. And so I'm moving forward starting today with ozone treatment. So it is supposedly, it like kills the bad stuff in your blood. They pull out your blood and run ozone, and I think, I'm not positive on this, UVB light through it, and it cleans up your blood or something. I don't know. It's, people are getting relief from it. I've studied it, and it's on Mayo Clinic talks about it too. But of course, Mayo Clinic follows the standard Western guidelines. I will say that Cleveland Clinic, second best in the country, trash, in the world. I mean, second best. The guy actually ghosted me there. I'm not going to name him. He ghosted me, literally ghosted me. So I went up there. They did all the same things, followed the CDC guidelines, told me it was psychiatric, prescribed antidepressants, which are dangerous for some people, and then when I followed up with him in it's like my chart, whatever, a messaging system, an app for Cleveland Clinic, he did not respond. I gave it the 3 to 5 business days. I waited till 7 days to make sure. I messaged him again, no answer. Waited a couple more days, called them. They were like, "Oh, we'll make sure he knows that there's a message." He ghosted me. A month later, he finally said something to me. So this is what I found out is typical for people who have Lyme disease. This is the nightmare that people go through. Thousands and thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people going through this nightmare. It's not isolated. So it's a problem with standard Western medicine. We know that there's a bunch of problems with standard Western medicine. So not all of Western medicine is inept. On this subject it is. So currently, head pressure, but not as bad. Nausea is mild, and then the electricity in my chest, and then the tremors. So everything is reduced. So I'm not just absolutely curled up in the bed begging God for relief anymore. And I expect to continue to improve. Some people say that they are healed. They can be healed from it. Some people say you're never healed. You only go into remission. So there are more things I've learned. Spirochetes are spring-shaped bacterium, and they drill into your tissues. Thankfully, I haven't had any joint issues. That's one of the bad things. Mine has been in my brain, which has been maddening. I would probably have preferred it be in my joints, but they drill into your brain, and what happens is you hit them with antibiotics, and all it does is like one doctor described it as mowing them down with a mower, like if you mow down dandelions, and it mows them down, but the roots are still there. Then they come back, but it's worse. There's a biofilm. After they come back, they've got a biofilm that protects them from the antibiotics, which is why you can't just keep beating it down with antibiotics. Of course, long-term antibiotic use, leaky gut and other problems from that. So I have been taking probiotics and eating probiotic food. And I will tell you that not being able to eat bacon and steak, that's only like this. It's micro. I can get by on turkey and fish, chicken just fine. I'm not even a little bit worried about that. I love a bunch of food, so that's okay. So I have alpha-gal, Lyme disease, Bordetella, Babesia, something Bergdorfi. Bartonella, I don't know. So I've got Lyme disease. There's that. So I'm all validated and relieved and optimistic moving forward, and hopefully I'll get more of my life back as I have already gotten. God is good. Whatever you're going through, He loves you and He knows what you're going through. And remember that He comforts us so that we can comfort others. And that is, I think it's from Corinthians. He comforts us so we can comfort others. 2 Corinthians. Yes. Let's dig into that. So much for it being short, right? Come on. There it is. Come on. Full chapter, please. Sorry. Blessed be the God. We're in 1 Corinthians, 2 Corinthians 1. Really? Yeah. 3. Blessed be the God and Father of our Lord Jesus Christ, the Father of mercies and God of all comfort, who comforts us in all our tribulation. Don't miss it. That we may be able to comfort those who are in any trouble with the comfort with which we ourselves are comforted by God. 1 Corinthians 1, 3, and 4. Be there for each other. I have been tremendously blessed by the love of the church. Tremendously. I'm grateful for it. I'm grateful for you. I'm grateful for love and prayers and phone calls. I have been in a very, very dark place, and a lot of people um, don't have what the blessing that I've experienced of hundreds of Christians on the phone with me, holding me. God's with you, He loves you, and it has been an incredible blessing. I could not have survived it without God, and the church has behaved towards me. Most of the church has behaved towards me as God wants us to, and I am in turn trying to do that for other people. I've got the 11:38 a.m. Prayer group. I just like random times. So 11:38 a.m. Monday through Saturday, I pray, and I have a private Facebook group for those just those with chronic illness. If you need your name added to that, I will. I think we're at 106 names that I lift up, and I just got 3 more names this morning, so it'll be at 109 tomorrow. Moving forward. Let's just go to heaven. Apparently, I needed to learn a bunch of hard lessons over many months. So just whatever it takes, just cling to Jesus, keep your eyes on the prize, keep praying, keep serving, keep the faith, keep bringing others to the cross, and be faithful to death to get the crown. Fight the good fight. Keep your hands on the plow and your eyes on Jesus. Don't look back. I've got Lyme. Bunch of co-infections as suspected. I'm happy. Optimistic. I love you all. Keep praying. I'm praying for you.